Happening now, a town of Carroll man is facing federal charges after police allegedly busted with a ghost gun this week. And new details on this year's Chautauqua County Fair. We hear from organizers behind the event next. Plus, a look at the annual cleanup effort here in Jamestown that's now expanding countywide.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our latest local news is coming up, but first, let's get a check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And just like yesterday, Dakota, we're battling these showers and clouds out there.
Today is a gray and gloomy day out there, so basically what you see behind me is what you're going to get today. This is the Randolph Peaches and Cream Skycam, and just a couple birds flying by there, but this is pretty much what you're going to see throughout the day today. The satellite and radar composite, most of the rain that we had this morning has now moved off to the east, and notice how lots of clouds around still across the southern tier, but we still could see a couple showers through the afternoon hours today. So it's not going to be entirely dry, and it's just going to be gloomy. 61 was the high yesterday, though. Started the day at 48, 88, and 21 are the records for today. So through the afternoon, gloomy and gray, a few scattered showers redeveloped this afternoon. Not everyone's going to see a shower, but cooler, 50 to 57 below average again, and that's the reason why with that north wind. Tomorrow should be a nice day, plus Mother's Day looking nice and a warm-up. We'll talk about it with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show, Justin.
All right, good news for our moms out there, Dakota. We'll see you back in just a little bit. A 51-year-old man was allegedly busted with illegal narcotics during a drug raid in Jamestown. The Jamestown Police Department's Metro Drug Task Force executed a search warrant at 102 Sampson Street in the upper apartment around 6 in the morning Tuesday. Following a search of the residence there, investigators allegedly recovered a quantity of heroin, nearly 12 ounces of meth, scales, packaging material, and a cane sword. Now, Randall Barlett has since been arrested and charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance, criminally using drug paraphernalia, and criminal possession of a weapon, among other crimes. Those with information about illegal drug or criminal activity are asked to contact Jamestown Police's tip line. The number is 716-483-TIPS. That number again, 483-8477. And a 37-year-old town of Carroll resident is facing several felony charges after police say they busted him with an unserialed ghost gun. New York State Police report troopers arrested John Peterson on Monday after executing a search warrant at his home. Inside the house, investigators allegedly recovered the loaded 9mm ghost gun in Peterson's possession. After consulting with the county district attorney's office, Peterson was arrested and charged with criminal possession of a disguised gun and criminal possession of a weapon, both felonies. New York State Police's Computer Crimes Unit assisted in this probe. And after New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced Representative Antonio Delgado as her lieutenant governor yesterday, many were left wondering how this change would take place given the predecessor's arrest on federal corruption charges. Our Julia Grez hears from our governor and the congressman.
Governor Kathy Hochul says the state's new Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado, will still serve as a congressman until a transition can take place. His name, however, will be on the ballot for the primary in June. The appointment comes a day after Hochul signed a law that will allow former Lieutenant Governor Benjamin's name to be removed from the ballot in the state's upcoming Democratic primary, and potentially allow Delgado to run for the Lieutenant Governor's job if he wants it permanently.
I say it's a subversion of democracy to allow the circumstance where voters are being asked to select someone who's actually said they're not running for office. I mean, that's the situation we had. And if you talk to anybody outside this universe, ask someone if they think someone who's already said they're not running, they have a legal issue they have to deal with, and that they're still on the ballot, no one would think that makes sense.
Despite leaving a competitive district to take the new job, something that could cost Democrats a seat, Delgado says he will still represent those from New York City in his new role.
There are so many critically important decisions made at the state level, as we've seen with abortion cases and what's happening in places like Texas and Oklahoma. and even Florida, denigrating the rights of the LGBTQ community.
Delgado, Hochul goes on to say, has been thoroughly vetted for the position and will continue to work hard for all New Yorkers.
And this equality, and this is the beautiful part about this system, this equality is expressed through a concept: one person, one vote. The power to right the wrongs of our society ought to lie equally in all of us. And only when it does can our society be truly free and just.
In the end, Delgado believes bringing New Yorkers together is one of his main priorities as Lieutenant Governor. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Now, New York's new law that allows a political candidate charged in a crime to be removed from a ballot and replaced with a candidate from the same political party has been criticized by lawmakers statewide, including State Senator George Borrello, who says the process is not fair to others who have put in the work to campaign. Organizers behind the Chautauqua County Fair are releasing more information about the return of this year's event. Now, despite opening a day late, officials hope the event will look as normal as possible following the beloved tradition's hiatus the past 2 years. In 2020 and 21, the fair was postponed due to the pandemic. The gathering has only been shut down one other time, during World War II, when prisoners of war were housed at the fairgrounds there in Dunkirk. Chautauqua County Fair President Dave Wilson explained some of the changes this year, as well as the community's initial response to the news of the return.
The big difference this year is that the rides are going to start on Tuesday, July the 19th instead of Monday, so it'll be July 19 to 24, which is the following Sunday. So we're all looking forward to it. I've had some good responses. People are excited. Fair's coming back. I hope it works out well. I don't foresee any hardships, but you never know.
Now, with the demand for the fair to return, organizers say they're hoping to see an above-average turnout this year. Now, as for purchasing tickets and the full schedule, Wilson expects more info to be released to the public in early June. As WNY News Now continues, a community vigil remembers a 7-year-old who was shot and killed in our region last month. And later, we check in with our U.S. Capitol correspondent as protesters take to the streets over a leaked Supreme Court document on pulling back Roe v. Wade. Stay with us. WNY News Now will be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Whoa, Pre-Comic Book Day is almost here.
There's comic books for all ages.
Stop on down to Chautauqua Comics at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown and pick up some free comics. From superheroes to science fiction, there are tons of options.
100% free. Just show up on May 7th starting at 11 a.m.
Chautauqua County is in dire need of child care providers, and we need your help. The Chautauqua Child Care Council is hosting several special webinars to help you enter the childcare industry. Setting up a childcare program is easier than you think. It could start in your home, caring for a few children, or grow into a large operation at a daycare center. If financials are a challenge, no worries. The New York State Office of Children and Family Services is offering a grant opportunity to help you get started.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area, hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at Northwest Arena, where both kids and parents alike can learn about activities available to you. Later in the evening, finish out the night at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. Stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
The community is continuing to remember a 7-year-old who was shot and killed just 2.5 weeks ago in a vigil last night, just one day after police arrested 2 people for the boy's death. Erie News Now's Kristen Allen has the story.
We just miss everything. His little squeaky voice, him running around the house.
It's been 2.5 weeks since 7-year-old Antonio Espin Yarger Jr. lost his life after being shot in the head at the corner of Downing Avenue and Fairmont Parkway. His cousin Amari and his mom Raquel can still find joy in remembering their favorite little boy.
Days I would come home from work and pick him up from my mom's house, and he'll come in the car with the biggest smile like, "Hey, mommy." That's my baby, and we just miss him a lot.
Despite the rainy weather, dozens of people came to honor Espin at a Take Back the Site vigil Tuesday evening.
You live in a world that is so cruel. To see all the love and support, it means a lot.
The vigil comes just one day after 2 teenagers are arrested and charged with the second grader's murder.
They did make an arrest in this case yesterday, so tell me, as a family, what that means to you guys.
Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean nothing because it's not going to bring him back.
We're glad, but it still doesn't take away the pain. We're glad that someone came to justice, but it still doesn't take away the pain.
Espin's family say they're keeping his memory alive, and while they await justice, they're advocating for an end to gun violence in Erie, hoping another family will never have to endure this pain ever again.
I miss him. I miss holding his hand. I miss him kissing me.
We love you, Espin, forever and always. That's it.
Kristen Allen, Erie News Now.
Kristen, thank you. Governor Kathy Hochul announced that $15 million is available through the Home Energy Assistance Program to help low-income individuals and families who lack air conditioning to stay cool during the upcoming summer months. The program covers the cost of an air conditioning unit and installation. Under the expanded eligibility, the cooling component is expected to serve up to 20,000 households throughout the state. To those who qualify for cooling assistance, applicants must meet eligibility and income criteria. Applicants for cooling assistance will be accepted beginning May 2nd. Assistance is provided on a first-come, first-served basis. And as the word spreads across the nation about the Supreme Court draft decision on overturning a ruling that legalizes abortion, crowds of people on both sides of the issue gathered at the Supreme Court. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp was there and heard from those on the ground.
Bombshell report from Politico, which released a draft decision from the Supreme Court overruling Roe v. Wade, a decision that has legalized abortions for nearly 50 years. People on both sides of the issue crowded around the Supreme Court.
You know, ever since I've landed last night, we've been protesting nonstop. I didn't sleep. I protested here until 2 in the morning, went home and got some food, came back and protested this morning.
Many holding signs sharing their thoughts on the pro-life or pro-choice side, and sometimes tensions would flare up. Today, the Supreme Court confirmed the authenticity of the document released, but stressed that the draft does not represent the final decision of the court. Even so, people on both sides of this issue are speaking out.
Every life matters, from conception to natural death.
A woman should have rights over her own body. It's just as simple as that.
This leaked document is also stirring up emotions in the Capitol. Many Republicans, including Erie's Congressman Mike Kelly, say if this decision becomes final, it's a huge win for the pro-life movement, while many Democrats are now looking at other ways to legalize abortion.
It is our intention for the Senate to hold a vote on legislation to codify the right to an abortion in law.
At the Supreme Court, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Well, break out those lightsabers and may the 4th be with you. This year, the National Star Wars Day falls on a Wednesday. It's a day for Star Wars fans like myself to celebrate all things pertaining to a galaxy far, far away. So how was May the 4th claimed by Star Wars fans? Well, get this, it originated in Toronto back in 2011 with a trivia game and costume contest, and of course is a play on the iconic Jedi blessing, May the 4th be with you. You can celebrate the day by showing off your lightsaber or maybe your best Wookiee impression on social media. I won't get started on mine. Use that hashtag National Star Wars Day. Coming up, reports on how former President Trump has been king-making in the primary elections across our nation. We check in with one race here in our region. And later, an annual Jamestown citywide cleanup tradition, well, it presses on and now expanding elsewhere. But first, when we come back, you might be dodging some rain today. Dakota's got all the details in just a moment.
You're watching WNYNewsNow, where coverage comes first.
Slow down, and move over. Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights, vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger.
This danger
is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down, and move over.
move over.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area. Hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at the Northwest Arena as we ring in summer vacation with a party featuring snacks, music, and more. In addition, several groups will be on hand speaking with both kids and parents about the plethora of activities available to keep our youth occupied. Then later in the evening, finish out the home run day with a night of fun at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. As a PE teacher, I know the importance of keeping kids busy this summer, so stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. You can learn more online at ccsolutions716.com and watch for updates on the Collaborative Children's Solutions Facebook page.
You're watching WNYNewsNow, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. And I think I say it every year. I'm not really into Star Wars. I've never gotten into it, which is really weird. But anyway, wanted to talk about the rainfall for the season because we're adding more rain on for the spring. 8.71 inches is the current seasonal rain total. That's about 1.14 inches above normal for the date. So we have that surplus for the rainfall. And we've got some more on the way. Now, once again, wanted to show you the hydrograph for the Chautauqua River. And still, the Chautauqua River still running a bit high. 2.92 feet is the current water level. Again, below action flood stage. But the good news is we are not expecting the Chautauqua River to ultimately go into flood stage. But we're going to keep our eyes on it, though. It's cloudy downtown right now from the HD News Now cam. 48 as a noon hour. This icon means fog. That's what that means. So there's fog being reported at the airport. You see it right there. 5 miles is the current visibility with a north wind of 14, and that fog is going to continue through the day. Here's the current visibility numbers. 3.5 miles in Mayville. How about just under 3/4 of a mile in Clymer, less than 1/4 of a mile in Erie. So the fog is continuing across the region today, and it's low-lying fog. So this is going to be an issue through the afternoon hours today. As we take a look at First Defense Doppler, we do have a few light showers, mainly across the North County, going up into Erie County, New York. There's just a couple of these little light showers. That's pretty much about it. This is just the wind farm in Arc, right? That's the wind turbine showing up on radar there. That is not rain. But this this is all in association with this low pressure area that's smacking us right dab in the face, along with this cold front that has moved on through. Notice how the clouds continue across there, but there's some clearing back behind there. That is going to be coming our way for the day tomorrow. So let's show it to you on the newest Runa Future Scan. Does paint a couple of little isolated showers through the afternoon. Again, not everybody is going to see a shower through the afternoon, but there could be a couple little isolated showers, but clouds and fog are going to remain the story. As we go through the overnight hours, I do think we'll see partial clearing, not full clearing, so we'll call it partly cloudy to partly clear on average for the overnight hours. Do think Future Scan's going a little bit too overboard. I think cloud cover for tomorrow, but I do think tomorrow should be partly to mostly sunny on average, and then by the time we go into Thursday, we'll see our next chance for scattered rain showers. Something we mentioned yesterday, a big warm-up is going to be coming our way towards next week. This is the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, and notice all this red favoring above average temperatures, and you're going to see it in the next 7 days of your life, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So tomorrow for Cinco de Mayo, 67, morning fog burns off, few showers return Friday. Saturday, I think a better chance for rain showers. Mother's Day looking nice, 66 with a lot of sunshine. Then take a look at the temperatures, Justin, going up into the mid 70s by Tuesday. Some long-range guidance suggests warmer temperatures than that by next week. Stay tuned.
All right, we will keep it here, Dakota. Thank you very much. Loving the warmth. Well, author J.D. Vance, he's the Trump-backed candidate in Ohio's Republican Senate primary, has won his party's nomination. He'll now face Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan in the general election. The Ohio primary is the first Senate contest of this year to test the power of former President Trump's endorsement. Trump upended the race last month when he backed Vance, who was a Trump critic back in 2016, but now Vance says his initial judgment of Trump was wrong. The midterm elections will determine whether President Biden can advance any part of his agenda after this year. Democrats control both the House and Senate right now, but many political analysts expect that will change come this fall. Also, in Ohio's Tuesday primary, Governor Mike Devin won the GOP gubernatorial primary to run in the general election for a second term there. The FDA advisories are scheduled to meet in June to discuss Novavax's request for an emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine. The FDA announced a tentative schedule for the vaccine committee. It includes a June 7th meeting to review the protein-based vaccine. Novavax submitted an emergency use request back in January. The vaccine is administered as a 2-dose 3 weeks apart. Unlike Pfizer and Moderna's mRNA vaccine, Novavax took a more traditional approach using smaller laboratory-built pieces of the coronavirus to simulate immunity. Well, the U.S. markets closed slightly higher yesterday as investors anticipate today's interest rate hike decision by the Federal Reserve. The central bank is expected to announce its first interest rate hike of a 0.5 percentage point in more than 2 decades. This is Wall Street watchers preparing for other increases to tackle the worst inflation our country has seen since the Reagan administration. John Lawrence reports.
The Federal Reserve helped the U.S. economy through the COVID-19 pandemic by dropping rates to near zero. Now the Fed is facing a new challenge, crushing inflation without bringing on a recession.
It's hard to catch up when you have to go very fast. It's also hard to catch up when you actually have to push monetary policy to a tight setting.
Coming up with a so-called soft landing could be difficult, in part because the jobs market is booming, and increasing the interest rate will likely change that.
This is a situation where wages have moved up at the highest rate in a very long time, and people are able to quit their jobs and move to better paying jobs.
The unemployment rate in the U.S. is at 3.6%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is considered full employment by the Fed.
They have to push up the unemployment rate. And in the past, when you've pushed up the unemployment rate, you've almost never been able to avoid a full-fledged recession.
The central bank raised rates by 0.25 percentage point in March, but some say that wasn't soon enough.
They wanted to start late because they wanted to see the economy get to full employment. But I think that's going to turn out, in retrospect, to have been a policy mistake. They should have gone a little bit sooner in terms of removing monetary policy accommodation.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. There is some reason for optimism here. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says the U.S. has seen soft landings before and a recession isn't inevitable. However, some analysts are still concerned, especially after the gross domestic product report from last week, which showed the U.S. economy stark during the first quarter. Well, next, an annual Jamestown cleanup event. They're preparing to expand to other parts of Chautauqua County. More on that when we come back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
A program highlighting neighborhood cleanup efforts in Jamestown is expanding across Chautauqua County. Our Bronson Rasmussen with more.
This used to be called Hands on Jamestown, and it has been passed on through several different hands and has ended up with the land bank of Chautauqua County.
Previously known as Hands on Jamestown, last year the Chautauqua County Land Bank, in partnership with the Jamestown Renaissance Corporation, rebranded the yearly occurrence to Hands on Neighborhoods in an effort to pave the way for expansion. Among those leading the effort is Neighborhood Project Director Mary Maxwell.
We're going to organize this for downtown, but the same day, if people in the neighborhoods want to do their own thing in their own neighborhoods, they are welcome to do that.
This year, on Saturday, May 21st, volunteers will once again hit the streets of Jamestown to clean up, picking up things like trash left over from the winter season. The event will also give residents a chance to speak directly with local officials.
The Parks Department has been coming, the Police Department, the Department of Public Works, the Fire Department, and the Department of Development have all been to the committee meetings.
While this month's event is only one of the few on the books at the moment, Maxwell says expansion is on the horizon, but she needs help from the community to get the incentive going.
The Land Bank would like to take this program all over the county. They have a special, they practiced on Jamestown, so they have something called Hands on Neighborhoods / Jamestown. And they kind of worked out all the kinks with us, and they're going to take it up to Dunkirk and do the same thing.
Those interested in helping out are asked to meet up outside of City Hall starting at 8 a.m. Saturday, May 21st. The effort runs through noon, with various supplies provided at the downtown spot. For more information, visit chqlandbank.org/hands-on. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. And it's always great to see the community, Dakota, come together and especially to do something good like that. And I know during Earth Day we talked about it, where there were events, seemed like everywhere, where people were giving out and cleaning up. And to continue that, where you're mindful of what you throw out. And litter used to be a huge issue. I remember when I was a kid, it was always don't litter, don't litter, don't. People would throw things out the window, and it almost seems like it's kind of gotten worse the last couple of years. Like we were better, and now not so much. So definitely needed.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is just, how do I say this without offending people? Laziness?
Yeah, right. People, because there's garbage cans a lot of places. Public parks. To bring it home with you. I bring my trash home
You have a garbage can in your car?
I do, yeah. I do, yeah. And I bring it home, and throw it away afterwards. What's the big deal there? But what are you going to do? Nevertheless, a good thing to partake in. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day and be kind to each other. Right?